at Christmas parties at one stage in my life, and somebody said, Jack or John, and 13 people stood up, and my mother immediately turned around and said, his name is Malcolm, because it was causing too much discontent. So my name was John Malcolm Jeffs, born on the 18th of March 1932. I'm a day older than the Sydney Harbour Bridge. When I was 5 years old, I was enrolled in Paynham School, and at grade 1 I was going along all right, and all of a sudden I had a problem. I had encephalitis, which put me out of school for 2 years. So when I got back to school, they immediately said, oh, you're too big for grade 2, so we're going to put you up to grade 4. And you think I've been retarded ever since? You're quite right. It took a lot of time to catch up. There's photographs there of me standing with a great heap of rubber. That was my war effort. I used to go to Mr. Cook's hotel and ask him if I could have his market cart, and I used to go all over the district collecting rubber, from fire hoses to tyres to anything. The news came out and took me standing upon a straight tile of rubber, and I seem to be standing on the same pile ever since. As a teenager, we had a great time. We had a gang of 5 boys, all neighbourhood kids, and we used to play tennis on our tennis court that Dad built. And the main reason why he did that was he had this block of land, and he said to the people, he said, I want to know where our kids are. And during the years we grew to friendships, and then we had girlfriends, and I had lots of girlfriends, and Ray Cook is still envious of it, but still he picked Diane first, so that's all right, he got that. But I had some like 40 girlfriends according to some of the skeptics.
I was working in the government back in those days. You left school at 16 or 17 or whatever, went and got a job in the government straight away, had a wonderful time there, and then he made me an offer too good to refuse with Dad to join him in the business, and we had a wonderful time back then.
So this is the greatest story of all. For the simple reason, I was coming home from Lenrocks one night, and there was this beautiful blonde woman sitting next to my first girlfriend. And I said to my first girlfriend, can you get me a date with that girl? And she said, why? I said, I want to go out with her. She's beautiful, she's gorgeous. And so we went that way. So it took me 5 weeks to get a date with her, and it happened to be Lois Joy Harvey. So anyhow, we had 3 dates, and I said to her, I think I'll marry you. And she said, okay, that sounds good to me. So we were waiting for 4 years to build a house and save our money up. And then we built the house on the corner of Lower North East Road and Balmoral Road, Denham Court. It was a timber frame house, and it was where we had our joyous moments. We had a great life. We had 2 sons, and we had the great pleasure of bringing them up there. We had Simon first of all, and the thing is that Yeah, 2 weeks premature. He survived that. He was only £4 13 ounces when he came. But now he's about 6 feet and he's quite robust. And then there's Scott. Well, Scott had a different attitude to life. There was Mother saying, when are you going to get out? And he's saying, no, I'm not getting out of here, Mum. This is too warm, too comfortable. I'm not going out. So they did something, then he was born, and there he was, lying there, still asleep, seemed to be. He was peaceful. The mother was absolutely worn out, you know, and it hasn't changed. But the 2 boys, they were great. They were the pleasure and the joy of my life. And I still love them. I still love them deeply. When you get the best love of your life, the first thing you say, I do. And after that you say, yes dear. Because that is when you get everything that you need and everything you want. And that is the pleasure that I have had with this lovely lady, and that was a joy. I used to come back from overseas, and there should be done up in like 38-degree heat, had this beautiful outfit on that she bought, and beret to match, and the sweat, it's running down her face because she was going to wear it anyhow. And every now and then something would come up and she'd buy it, and now we've got the greatest heap of clutter around the place, but it was worthwhile just seeing the joy that she gave us. When you lose your partner, it's a pretty terrible time. When Lois died, she died in a few seconds, and I went up and saw that she was dead. But when you think of all the things that everybody did on that day, it was a fantastic effort from everybody. But you've got to have a drive to get up. You've got to have something to do. I sometimes feed 3 or 4 blokes for dinner, and they come along and they eat it and they go home. And they come back again and say they must like the food, or I've got a friendship. It's a bit of a worry. I've always been interested in being a priest. As a child, I was brought into the world at St Aidan's, and that's where I was brought up in Sunday school, and I loved the story of Christ and what he did. And when I woke up after the 10 days in a coma with encephalitis, the first picture I saw was Jesus with his hands out blessing the children. And it's guided me through so much in my life that when push comes to shove, you get the strength to be able to survive. And that's the big part in life. You've got to be able to survive. And with God's help you can. Three years ago, I had a fall down at Ranella.
Scott and Kathy managed to get Malcolm up here, and I think since then there's been a much better arrangement for both of us. I'm able to drop down occasionally and unexpectedly, and it's good fun.
I really like it here. It's ideal for me. It's the way that it extends you to where your children show the care. And without Scott and Kath, I would be one of the loneliest men in the world. And now I've got my grandchild here, and when she comes, she can stomp all over the place because she owns it. She's gorgeous.
I guess over the 70-something years, it's evolved into a better relationship now than it probably ever has been. I can only thank him for the fun we had, really. There we just had arguments, but there was mainly fun. And I like him.
Well, what I'm going to advise you, the young people, is to remember that the old people have gone before you. And the way they've gone before you is with love, charity and hope. And we're looking forward that we leave a legacy to you so that you remind you of the pleasures of life and that what faith can do for you. Keep your faith on a safe track. Don't abandon it. God's still there. He's not left you. He's waiting at your shoulder just for you to say something. To my brother, I'd like to say thanks for being my brother, and look forward to seeing you when we do pass on. I want you boys to realise that your father loved you, and he still does love you. And when we get to heaven and together, we are still together. Amen. Oh, listen, he's looking forward to you when you get up to heaven. Do not bring any papers, we got enough.
When we come here, Pop says the thing is. But I must say, we haven't got one on this film.
On the tape.
Not one, not on one.